full pleasure to have you guys with me today. So today we'll move on to section 7 of the Gcse biology, and that topic is ecology. All right, so let's get right into it. It's going to be in sections or in parts as usual. So just get your pen and let's get to work. So the first part is communities. Now the picture on the screen actually is explicit about this topic. Now you probably see some zebras here, some elephants here, and some, is that flamingo? I'm not sure about that. Now, but the truth is you have different organisms here, and that is what a community is. So let's see what that really means in actual sense of it. So now you need to understand that community is based on when you've had different organisms. So of course, this is what the topic is about. Before we get to community, let's ask ourselves, what even leads to a community? Now, we need an individual organism of any species. Then when you put that group of organisms together, when you put that organisms together, you have a lot of them, saying that a group of individuals of the same species living together, and that forms a population. Then when you have different populations, then you have a community. So if you saw what I did at the beginning, so this is a population of zebras, a population of elephants, a population of flamingo, and that forms a community living in an environment or interacting together, so to say. Then so that's the same that I've put here. So this is like a reindeer, I guess. So the individual reindeer, population of reindeer, then we now have, let's say the hare. The hare. There's, I don't know, mountain lion, then the owl, then the elk. So each of these come together. This is a population of these forms a community. Then these different organisms interacting with this community, interacting with their abiotic environment, forms an ecosystem. So you can see the interaction between the community, which basically living organisms, and the non-living part, which could be the air around, the water, the gases, the soil, all of those, the pH of the environment, the humidity, all of these constitute the non-living environment. So that's what an ecosystem is. You need that hierarchy, because when you're going to be explaining if you're asked to define, you must pay attention to the fact that a population has to be the same organism or the same species, so to say. This is very, very important. All right. Then we move on to the next, which is competition. Now, I don't want you to get distracted with that video there, so I'm just going to take that off for a minute. Now, looking at this here, you see that we have competition, which means you have to fight for a limited resources. Please pay attention to some of the things you're going to be seeing on the screen right now. Now, if it is not limited, then there's no competition. It has to be a resource that is limited. That's why you have to compete. Say 2 students are fighting over a seat. 2 students cannot fight over 2 seats because it's enough for everybody, really. So that's what competition is. And basically, it goes in 2 ways. It can be intraspecific and interspecific. Now, that brings us to this first video. There, you saw the lion chasing away the pack of hyena, or I don't know what the collective name for hyena is. Maybe let's say pack. So it means that the 2 different species are fighting over the same thing. So the lion is a different species, the hyena is a different species, fighting over that maybe the leftover food, or that dead animal, or I don't know which of the animals killed in the first instance. Then on the other hand, the intraspecific, which is the same species fighting over the same thing. Now in this space here, this silverback gorilla, maybe they are fighting over it might be over territory, over, we don't know, but for the fact that they're the same species, that is why it's called intraspecific. So this is intraspecific, this is inter, but it has to be the same thing. They are fighting for the same thing. It has to be the same thing they're fighting for. This is very, very important. All right. Then the next thing you also need to know on that, that helps a community basically, because the question is, okay, the community has to do with interaction of different organisms. So they have to look at, okay, community, adaptation and competition. So the first one we talked about was competition. Now, how do organisms adapt? These two are foxes. So this is the fennec fox. This is the Arctic fox. So they are both foxes actually, but there's differences in them. Now, what's adaptation to start with? That's the ability of organisms to survive and be able to reproduce. So the organism must be able to get used to its environment. That will make it to survive. If it survives, it's going to reproduce within the environment. So now look at this fennec fox here. It has a rather large, long ear, or the pinna, that long part. And there's a reason for that. Now, the bigger the ear, the more you lose heat. So this organism has a longer ear, which allows it to lose more heat. Why does it have to lose heat? Because it lives in a dry place where there's hot, where the environment is hot. So it uses the longer pinna to lose heat to the environment. Also, if you look at the fur, it's thinner or lesser because it doesn't want to conserve temperature, rather it wants to lose heat. On the other hand, the Arctic fox has a smaller ear. Why? Because it's trying to conserve heat. Then it has a thicker fur. Also, to to serve as insulation against the cold environment. Now, both of them have something. Their color is quite closer to the environment, to camouflage, so that they can be able to escape being killed, or they can also conceal themselves when they're trying to hunt for their prey. So 3 things I've mentioned here: the ear, the fur, and the color of each of them is a good adaptive features for the organisms. All right. And that